Good morning, students. Today, the topic which we are going to start is adding new units to curriculum. How you can add new units to curriculum. As the curriculum makers are making the curriculum, developing the curriculum, or framing the curriculum, they felt the need that some units to be added and some units to be deleted from the curriculum. Now, what is the process of adding new units to the curriculum? We will discuss in this class. Now, learning objective. These are the learning objectives of today's topic. The first point is that unit plan. What do you mean by that? Teaching is not a natural process. To assess the quality of an existing unit plan, how you will assess the quality of an existing unit plan, why you think that there should be a need in the existing unit plan, the process of adding new units to the curriculum, what is the process that has been used for adding the new units to the curriculum, how to use the downloadable unit plan document, and how can you use that plain document in your framing of the curriculum. One of the best way to be successful in the classroom is plan things out ahead of time. Now, what is that? We have to make a plan, and that plan should be according to the ahead of time. Means the planning should be ahead. Use the strategies below to prepare an overview of what you are going to teach. Means you have to prepare and you have to make the strategies to prepare an overview of what you are going to teach, what you are going to teach in your class. You have to make strategies according to it to teach for the school year, for the complete year, what you are going to teach, and how will you find fit major topics and specific concept together. And it's the responsibility or the role of the teacher how you will fit major topics. Means as a teacher you have to fit the major topics and specific concepts together. Refer to the sample lesson plan for new teachers. Means the new teachers who are going to teach a particular subject has to refer the sample lesson plan made for that specific subject. A new teacher must refer these sample plan, and according to these sample plan he can make his or her lesson plan for a model of how you can structure each individual lesson. Now that sample lesson plan will work as a model, and the model lesson plan will help you to build, develop your own lesson plan. Model of how you can structure each individual lesson. Means every lesson cannot be same. The objectives of every lesson is different. The teaching strategies of teaching every lesson is different. So that sample lesson plan will work as a model for constructing, developing, or structuring individual lesson plans. Within a unifying theme, a unit guides the sequence and pace of skills and knowledge. Now, a unit guides means guidance given by the unit is related to the sequence. The sequence means the topics in which it should be taught to the student, and pace of skills and knowledge, and what should be the pace of learning the particular skills and knowledge. Acquisition described in a more granular, detailed by lesson plan. Means everything has to be mentioned in a detailed form in a particular lesson plan. Its importance should not be underestimated. Means the importance of lesson plan should not be underestimated. We should know that lesson plan, constructing framing of the lesson plan is very important. Sage says educational consultant Max Thomas, and what who has given that? Max Thomas had said that we cannot ignore the importance or underestimate the importance of lesson plan. Who defined bad curriculum design as the cause of widespread achievement gaps? Now, what he is saying that a curriculum has been made, but if that curriculum is not able to satisfy the needs of the students, and we are saying it's not according to the needs of the society, then we will call it as a bad curriculum. First thing, if he is saying if we have identified that this is the bad curriculum. Now, what will be the cause of that bad curriculum? He says that there will be a wide spread achievement gaps between the objectives of the particular curriculum and the outcomes and the achievements of the individual or the learner or the students. Where there is a widespread gap between the achievement and the objectives for which the curriculum has been designed or framed, that curriculum cannot be called as a good curriculum. Tangentially, Thompson emphatically states that because it raises achievement and is connected to how people organize their thinking, the focal point, the important point of learning, major point of learning, especially for students impacted by poverty, should be vocabulary. Means he's saying that if we identify that bad curriculum, then we have to make efforts to make it a curriculum which raises the achievement and it's connected to how people organize their thinking process. To assess the quality of an existing unit plan, the four most important questions to ask are means when are we are assessing, means when we are judging, when we are evaluating the quality of an existing unit plan, means the quality of an existing unit plan means the plan that has been made. The four most important questions to ask are we have to ask the four important questions when we are assessing, when we are evaluating the existing unit plan. And the questions are is the unit aligned with standard objectives and guidelines? Means the unit plan or the curriculum that has been made is aligned with the standards, objectives, and guidelines of the curriculum which we have implemented for the learners. Is there a balance of teaching strategies that has been adopted by the teacher for making the teaching learning process effective? Is there a balance of teaching strategies, learning strategies, and authentic tasks that engage and meet the need of diverse learner? Now, meet the needs of diverse learner, whether our lesson plan, whether our teaching strategies, whether our learning strategies are able to satisfy the needs of diverse learners that are present in our class. Every learner has its own style of learning. Every learner wants that the teacher should teach according to his own style. And that's why we are saying that every learner has a diversity on the basis of his intellectual ability, on the basis of his mental abilities, physical abilities, the way of learning. Have I sequenced the activities clearly? Now, what has to be done? The activities should be arranged in a sequence or a proper manner. Do the formative and summative assessment measure the knowledge and skills identified in the objectives? Now, what is that? Our evaluation system should be such that our evaluation should assess whether our objectives has been fulfilled or not. To the formative and summative assessment, formative, that is a continuous process, summative at the assessment process that has been taken by the teacher at the end of the curriculum or at the end of the year, measures the knowledge that formative and summative assessment measure the knowledge of the learners and skills identified in the objective. Now, when we have to prepare a lesson plan, first of all, we identify that these are the objectives of learning that particular topic or that particular lesson plan. And we are when we are making an assessment, when we are making an evaluation, we have to measure whether the skills, whether the objectives that we have identified at the starting of the lesson plan, whether uh, objectives has been achieved or not, and that finding out how the objective has been achieved or not, it is through the formative and summative assessment. The next section will help the necessary, unnatural, invisible, and painstaking process of writing unit plan. Now, the next section, first you have to identify that. Second, you have to make the activities according to the sequence. Then you have to think whether the formative and summative assessment is measuring the knowledge and the skills or not. Or in the next section will help, the next section will help. Now, to whom it's helping, it's helping the teachers with the necessary, what are the important things, unnatural, invisible, and painstaking process of writing unit plans. Now, strategies to get you started. Now, what are the different strategies that can be employed by you that make you start? Become familiar with your school district curriculum guide. Means as a teacher, you have to be familiar with your school district curriculum guide. Means that guidelines will help you to deliver the lecture, to make the strategies, to make the activities that has to be used in the teaching learning process. Benchmark and state standards. And what is the benchmark which you want to achieve for your students, and the state standards, and this is the standard that is decided by every state, and uh, by your teaching learning process you want your students to achieve that state standards. List the major curriculum categories. Means you have to make specific major curriculum categories, that these are the major curriculum categories of our curriculum. Summarize the curriculum by listing single concepts within major categories. Summarize the curriculum means you have to make a short paragraph related to your curriculum by listing single concept, that these are the single concept which we are going to teach within major categories. Means these are the major categories, and we will teach these single concepts within the major categories. List the concept in these categories for both the grade level above and the grade level below the one you are currently teaching. Now, what is that grade level above and the grade level below? For example, you are studying in class 10th. Now, the grade level above will be your 12th standard, and the grade level below will be your 9th standard. So, list the concept in these categories. You have to prepare the curriculum or to list the concepts or the topics in these categories. Why we are saying that we have to arrange the categories in this concept? Because we are saying that the concepts, the topic should be moved from known to unknown, and the grade level below the one which you are currently teaching. Grade level below the one you are teaching means currently what topic you are going to teach to the students. That will be act as a previous knowledge for the students when they will go grade level above. Means when they are studying in 11th class, that will be the one they are currently teaching or learning, and that the above will be the grade level above class. Doing this will give you a sense of continuation. It will give you a continuation. Why? Because making the knowledge from previous to current, helping you become more informed when answering parental questions. It will also serve you planning time if you teach a different grade in the future, and it will save your planning time. Means you will able to know that these are the concepts which the students already know, and these are the concepts which has to be known by the students in that particular grade. Select the category you will teach first. Now, you are making a list in the categories. Now, select the category which you are going to teach to the students first. Combine any concept that are appropriate to teach together. Now, what is that? Means while you are making your plan, while you are planning for your lesson plan, you have to sit and plan that these are the concepts that can be appropriately teach together, and arrange the concept using any of the following category. Means you have come to know that demand and supply, and the if effect of money, and the how the demand and supply play the role, that these are the two different concepts, and I can teach the student these two concepts in a combined form. That first you have to pick up those concepts that you can combine, that are appropriate to teach together. Means you have identified those concepts, and you are sure that I can uh, combine these two concepts to teach at a particular time, and arrange the concept uses any of the following criteria: obvious, chronicle, sequential, ascending, or descending order. You have decided that you are combining two concepts all together, and you will teach the students these two concepts in a combined way. Then, first of you have to decide what will be the chronicle order. Sequence, what will be the sequence? What will I tell them, the students, first? Then ascending or in descending order, you have to sequence the concept either in ascending form or in the descending form. Availability of material, your teaching style. What are the different materials that are available and that suits your teaching style? You have selected that I will use PPT. My teaching style is that I love to teach the students when I have prepared the PPT or the PowerPoint presentation for showing my students, but whether there is a availability of projector in the class or not. Use a three-ring bingers to organize your materials by units. Now, the material which will be used by you for teaching the units, you have to organize that material according to the units. Locate teaching materials appropriate for each concept. Now you have to locate that these are the appropriate teaching materials that can be used by me for making my teaching learning process effective, so that the achievement of the students should be more, such as relevant newspaper articles. Now, you can consult relevant newspaper articles for teaching materials, trade books, websites. You can consult the website. Field trip information means you can take your students for the field trip, and list of guest speakers. Now, you can organize uh, webinars or seminars, and in which you can ask the guest speakers to come and deliver the lectures. Now, that will be again a teaching material appropriate, suited for that particular concept. Include all materials related to the concept. Means you have to include all the materials that is related to that particular concept. It is easier to discard or return material than to reallocate them later. It is easier to discard. You have selected the material. If that is not useful for you, then you can discard. Or return material means that material is not used by you during the teaching learning process, then you can return that. Then to reallocate them later means you have to plan the teaching methods, teaching materials with the planning of the lesson plan. They are saying that it's easier to discard the material if not use, return the material, but it is difficult to reallocate the teaching materials later on, because your students' needs will vary from class to class. Why that is saying they? Because the needs of the students vary from class to class. Means 9th standard students will have a different need, a 10th class student has a different need. It is good idea to keep a variety of material on hand. So it is a good idea to keep a variety of teaching materials that a teacher can um, use while during their teaching learning process. Sketch out your unit plan by listening concepts, objective and expected students outcome. Now scratch your unit plan means you can make a plan by listing that these are the concepts which I am going to teach, objectives, these are the objectives which I want to achieve, and expected student outcome, and what you want from your students, what they will able to learn after the completion of that particular topic. Review all materials together for each concept. Now, all materials you have to make a review gathered for each concept that you have used and list those you can actually plan to use. Now, review of all materials gathered by you for each concept which you are going to teach. Now, what will be the review? Whether that material will be useful for me to teach the concept or not, whether I should go for this with this teaching material or not, and list those you actually plan to use. You have collected a lot of teaching materials, but now you have to make a plan that these are the teaching materials that I am going to use actually while delivering the teaching lesson plan. Break the units into lessons containing learning activities. Means you have to divide the units into different lessons containing learning activities, that these are the learning activities that will be organized by me for teaching that particular subject. That match curriculum objective means the learning objective should be designed keeping in mind the curriculum objective, and the activities should match the curriculum objectives. Gather ideas for students project. What are the different projects that can be given to the students for making their learning effective? Demonstrations, problem solving activities that can be organized by the teacher, and other hands-on learning activities. Now, what is hands-on learning activities? Where the students are involved in the learning process and they learn by doing that particular concept. Teaching is not natural. Now, what is that? That teaching is not a natural skill. The public believes incorrectly that classroom instruction is as natural as showing your child how to fish or helping a nephew play. Now, what they are saying, that teaching is not as natural as people think, and they are saying that it's a more difficult task. It is not an easy task, and they are making a comparison between showing your child how to fish. That it is easy, it is natural to teach a student or a child how to fish, but it is difficult to teach, or helping a nephew play, or comparing with a helping a nephew play, that is also a natural, that is very easy, but teaching is not a natural and easy process. But the comparison don't take into account the profoundly specialized discourse of class 12 instruction. But those comparisons, the comparison learning child how to fish or helping a nephew play, but those comparisons don't take into account the profoundly specialized discourse of class 12 instructions. Answering a learner question with a question means learner question with a question. Learner is asking a question and I am replying the learner with a question. Creating a holistic rubrics means a holistic rubric means where there is a whole round development of the learner. Or take a deep breath, facilitating a high level discussion of new content. And you can facilitate means you can motivate, you can encourage the learners for a high level discussion of new content that you are going to teach before 35 diverse students. Why? What they are saying? Because every class has 35 to 40 students, and every class that having 30 to 35 students have different needs, or there are diversity of students, two of whom present ADHD behavior, while an administrator evaluates you. All of this require a ridiculous consultation of specialized unnatural skills. What they are saying that to deal with different diverse students, and though some students might have uh, learning difficulties, some have attention deficient disorder behaviors, then it is very rare or a natural process to teach those students. So we are saying that teaching is not a natural skill, it's an unnatural skill. That unfamiliar skill set means that even the most brilliant teacher cannot just wing it. They have to plan. Means the most brilliant teachers also has to make a plan. They also has to make a planning of lesson plan when they are going to teach the students. While the public has no idea how much mental muscle curriculum planning requires. Now what they are saying that it's required a lot of pain, it's required a lot of responsibility by the teachers to prepare a lesson plan. Corporations that sell education materials do know. Now, those organizations or corporations, those who are selling the educational materials to the public, do know that planning, preparing is a very difficult task. Unfortunately, their support is often in the form of selling. Now, but their main focus is on the selling part. Surefire scripted curriculum that guarantees growth. If teacher will just follow direction, means the curriculum will definitely shows that the student will have a growth if the teacher will just follow the direction that this curriculum has to be used in that particular manner. These can be the teaching strategies and these can be the techniques or the materials which can be used. There are, however, several reasons why scripted curricula in a box does not work, but sometimes that the scripted curriculum in a box does not work. Because what work in one classroom often won't work the next period. So what they are saying that you are going to teach a class 7th and in the next class you are going to teach the 8th class. Now what will happen that the teaching strategies, the planning which you have made for the 7th class students will not work for the 8th class students. Flexibility, there should not be rigidness. Intuition and judgment calls by instructors are needed. Now, the instruction should be flexible in his teaching learning process. Means I cannot be rigid that I will follow that process only. I will use these strategies, these techniques only for teaching. Means I have to be flexible. Uh, and judgment calls by instruction are needed, and these are the judgment calls that what has to be teach students, how it's to be uh, teach student. These needs a judgment call by the instructor. Value and motivation vary by classroom. Pre-packaged curriculum undermines teachers' professionalism and agency. Cultural sensitivity does not come in a package. All students are not at the same level of development, as the development process differ from individual to individual. Scripted lesson interference with the all important teacher-student relationship. Finally, prepackaged programs are overwhelmingly used with poor minority population. So we are using that, saying that the prepackaged programs are used with poor minority population. According to Johnson, who argued that this practice is characteristic of a deeply segregated system in which more experienced instructors teach the children of the privileged. Now, what they are saying that the experienced teachers those teachers who have the skill or the knowledge of that particular subject, those who are the experts of that particular subjects, are teaching the children of the privilege. In other words, the rich gets richer, and by this, the teaching by the experts to the privileged group will definitely make the rich the richer, and the poor get skill and kill worksheets and laminated plateaus, and the poor people who are not able to get that, and they will be suffering. For all these reasons, it is imperative that teachers develop their own unit plan. Now, for all these reasons, means the teacher should not go for the pre-packaged programs, as there are different needs of the students, and teacher has to cater with the diverse learners of the class. So they are saying that because of that, the teacher has to develop their own unit plans. Now, unit planning. Unfortunately, a unit plan can help us master specialized classroom discourse. It means we will able to master that particular content. Don't think of units as just curriculum artifacts. These are not only units are not just a artifact facts curriculum. They are also a mapping process. Means the units are helping in developing or mapping in process that enables a teacher to think carefully about research supported. Means when the teacher is doing that, that the research supported, what are the researches done in that particular area, what are their findings, and that findings will help you to make that teacher learner content interaction. Means what will be the teacher learner interaction, that is based on the content which the teacher is going to teach. Content interaction that help kids meet standard and grow up to save the world. And these will, the interactions will help the kids to meet standards, the benchmarks, and grow up to save the world. And this learning will help them to save the world at large. Now, how to use the downloadable unit plan documents. Now, how a teacher can use that to develop, to help you develop a new unit, that will help the teachers to develop a new unit. Overall curriculum, the overall curriculum, or just tweak in an existing plan, means or just a change or manipulation into an existing plan. I created a printable checklist of potential units element broken into 8 sequential planning steps, and these are the 8 sequential planning steps that has been needed. Describe your vision. What is your vision for teaching that particular topic? Focus on what area you are focusing. Objective. What are your objectives and students' need? And what is the need of your students? Identify resources. You have to look out that these are the resources that will be used by you. Develop experiences that meets your objective. Now you have to develop those experiences that will help you to achieve your objectives. Collect and diverse material. Collect all the different type of material. Look down the specific of your task. That can be that these will be the specifics of my task. Develop plan, you have to make a plan method that these methods will be used, and process, and this process will be applied by you. Create your students experiences, means you have to create the teaching learning process. You have to select the activities in such a way that your students get experiences. Go, now you are ready to go to teach. Today, in this particular topic, we have learned about the different unit plans, how to add new units to that, how what is the need, and how the planning should be done. For referring the further referring on that particular topic, you can refer these references. Now, now let us discuss some MCQs, as MCQs are the best tool to know what are the learning outcomes of the students. Now, the first one, dash, identifies bad curriculum design as the cause of widespread achievement gap. Now, who stated that the bad curriculum design, that means the curriculum that has been designed in a bad way, causes a widespread achievement gap, means the objectives are different and what the students are achieving is there is found a gap. Now you have to select the correct option answer from the given options. Now A is backend, is the that backend who has given this Johnson. If Johnson has stated that, Thompson Thompson has given his views on the Alexander. Now the students, you have to give the correct answer, and the correct answer is option C, that is Thompson. Now the second one, dash, factors are there to assess the quality of an existing unit plan. Now, now, what are the factors? How many factors are there that has been used by the teacher for assessing the quality of an existing unit plan? Now the options are A, 4, there are 4 factors that is assessing the quality. Option B, 3, option C, 2, or option D, 1. So the correct answer is option A, that is 4 factors are there to assess the quality of an existing unit plan. Unit should be aligned with standards, means the units which you are framing, which you are designing, should be aligned with the standards of the state and the guidelines that has been issued by the government. Now the options are A, purpose, B, objectives, C, exercise, or the D1, its need. Now the students, you have to select the correct answer from the given choices, and the correct answer is yes, the correct answer is option B, that is objectives. Means when you are planning the units, it should be aligned with the standards, objectives, and guidelines. A balance of teaching strategy means there should be a balance between the teaching strategies that have been employed, learning strategies that will be used by the teacher, and authentic tasks that engage and meet the needs of dash learners. Now, you have to select the correct answer on the basis of the given choices. Now, the choices are A, diverse, B, fixed, C, regular, or the D1, its purpose. So, a balance of teaching strategies, learning strategies, and authentic tasks that engage and meet the needs of diverse learner means we will cannot be focused only a individual learner. We have to be make our teaching plan, lesson plan accordingly, such that the needs of diverse learners can be satisfied or achieved. Now, the formative and summative assessment measure the knowledge and skills identified in the. Now, the options are A, objectives, B, needs, C, values, or it's D, learning. Means the formative and summative assessment that has been used by the teacher during the teaching learning process. These type of assessment measure the knowledge of the learner and skills, whether they have able to develop those skills or not, that has been identified where. Now the options are objectives, needs, values, and learning. Now the correct answer will be yes, the correct answer is objective. Objectives means option A. The sixth one, a dash plan can help us master specialized classroom discourse. Now, a dash plan. Now, which type of plan should be made by the teacher so that it helps? That plan will help us master specialized classroom discourse. Now, the options are A. Unit, whether it should be a unit plan. B. Lesson plan, whether it should be a lesson plan. C. It should be a criticism plan, or it should be a final plan. So the correct answer is option A, that is unit. Means a unit plan can help us master specialized classroom discourse. Now the seventh one. It is imperative that teachers develop their own dash plans. Now the options are A, unit, B, lesson, C, criticism, or it's D, final. So the correct answer is option A, that is a unit should be there, that it is imperative that teachers develop their own unit plans. They should not go for the pre-planned programs that are available in the market. Now, the eighth one. The best way to be successful in the dash is plan things out ahead of time. Now, the best way to be successful in what? A. Classroom, B. In the lesson, C. In the unit, or a D. In the school. Now you have to select the correct answer from the given options, and the correct answer is option A, that is classroom. That the best way to be succeed in the classroom is plan things out ahead of time. Means planning is necessary. Now the ninth one. Summarize the dash by listening single concept without major categories. The options are A. Curriculum, B. Syllabus, C. Content, or the D. Theory. Now, the students, you have to select the correct answer from the given choices. Now, what will be the correct answer? And the correct answer is yes, the correct answer is option A, that is curriculum. Means curriculum, summarize the curriculum. You have to make a summary of the curriculum by listing single concepts, that these are the single concepts within the major categories. Now the 10th one, dash with your school district curriculum guide, that this is the school district curriculum guide. Benchmark, this is the benchmark that we have to achieve. And state standard, and these are the state standards. When developing the curriculum, when we have to develop a curriculum. Now, options are A, familiar, it should be familiar. B, it should be fixed. C, it should be regular. Or it's D, none of the above given choices. Now, the students, you have to select the answer on the basis of the choices, and the correct answer is yes, the correct answer is option A, that is familiar. Means when you are going to develop the curriculum, you must know what is this district curriculum guidelines has been given, what are the guidelines given by them, what are the benchmarks that has been set by them, and what is the state standards which we want to achieve with the help of that particular curriculum. Now, thank you, students. With this particular narration, you will able to understand how to add a new unit, what is the purpose of adding a new unit, and the when you are adding the units, you must keep some points that the content should be in a sequential or logical order. It should be either in ascending or in the descending order. These things should be kept in mind when you are adding a new units to the curriculum. Thank you so much. Thank you, students, for your patience listening.